How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid, which ended up putting up a green day inside of the market. No surprise. We saw Tesla today. Tesla took the market and put it on its back and went on a crazy run. We also did see a lot of EV plays moving alongside in sympathy as well. And we saw this in the market as a whole. But you know what? We'll talk about it further in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to take a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $29.39, being up 8.25%. On the low, it tested $27.42, and then on the high, testing $29.48. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 41.49 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 44.704 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, but we saw a lot of strength in Lucid stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is at 34.02. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 50-day, the 21-day EMA, the 100-day, but as you can see here, we ended up reclaiming and finishing above the 200-day. So one of the things you want to pay attention to going into tomorrow, if we see more momentum coming into tech, we saw Tesla had quite the run on the day. Lucid will see sympathy for this, and this is why we have to keep an eye right at this $30 level. Because if it could pass $30, and you know the next level that you want to look out for, like I've been saying in previous videos, is right around 32.50. And getting momentum above 32.50, that's where things can get very interesting, because then you'd want to see if Lucid could get past the $34 level. Now, if it decides to pull back, then of course where we want to see it actually break through, if you're looking for a bearish move, you have to see it break through the $28 range and then make that move going into the 27s, and where we could start seeing this stock getting down to 26 and as well as 25. If it decides to consolidate, then of course you'd want to see it consolidate above the 200-day around 28.96, so it would have to hold up $29. But at the worst, as long as it could hold up around $28, it will fare well. But one of the things we have to keep in mind, momentum above this 200-day can get very interesting, and is why you have to play both sides, whether you want to do calls, puts, or you're going to short or you're going to go long on the stock. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. So as we scroll down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So we're going to take a look at the recent filings for January the 31st. So we have State of New Jersey Common Pension Fund D that purchased 245,836 shares. And then also we have here Invesco Pure Beta MSCI USA ETF that purchased 24,585 shares, and we also have a closed position from DuPont Capital Management Corp. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the dark pool short volume ratio is at 51.23%, and then for the dark pool short volume, it is just over 16.28 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 500,000, updated 19 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 9.86%. Now, when we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close of the 27th, it was at 57.36, and then for the close of the 28th, it's at 51.2. So it'll be very interesting to see what the numbers will be later on in the evening, but I do think it will be higher. So now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So for the inflow, we could see here it was a 231, and then on the outflow is at 202. So we had an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown on the large, it was 6.31. On the medium, it was 89.37, and then on the small, it was 136. Keep in mind these numbers are in the millions. Taking a look at the outflow side, we could see on the large it was 25.02. On the medium, it was 74.68, and then on the small it was 103. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see for January the 31st today, it being that major outflow of negative 18.7 million. And then on the 28th, which was a Friday that just passed, it was at 12.1. So out of 5 trading days, we could see 3 trading days we've had inflows. When we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. Of course, retail always wants to jump into the stock while it is running up. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the large, which we just covered, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, you could see there's a big discrepancy here. As far as selling is concerned, we had 25.02 million. And as far as buying is concerned, it was at 6.31. So again, a lot of heavy selling there. And then when we take a look now at the turnover ratio, it was at 2.53%. So you know what, for a stock like Lucid, this is not too bad whatsoever. Remember, we did see the 4% range. So what this means is with the buying and people holding on to their positions, this is definitely having an impact and helping out Lucid stock. But do keep in mind, Tesla ran up quite a bit. A lot of EV plays followed. So we're going to be talking about in the final thoughts, will this continue? So let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for Lucid in regards to the price action, because again, you guys want to have some sort of a strategy. Again, this is not financial advice. So what you want to see Lucid do is being able to hold up the $29 level. This will be very essential. If it is able to get to $30, things get interesting, because then if it reclaims the level of $32.50, that's where you can look forward to seeing that move to 34. If it is unable to hold up at 29 bucks, then of course the 200-day ends up being a resistance. Again, this is right alongside with support where it was able to close above. So if it gets below 29, that's where we can start seeing 27. And if there's further weakness, we can start seeing 25 and even going into the $24 range. But you have to keep in mind, if we have strength in tech, of course Lucid will benefit. If you see Tesla that is running up and catching a lot of steam, do not buy puts on Lucid. I know many people have been asking me, Dre, did you buy puts on Lucid today? I'm like, why would I? When I see the market is strong, why am I going to try to trade against the trend? This is a bad idea. As far as going into tomorrow, if I see some weakness, if I see Tesla's pulling back, then of course I'll be thinking about getting into puts when it comes to Lucid. But for a day like we had today, I know calls did do very well, and you could have scalped puts, but for the most part, Lucid was strong with that green day that it had. Also, when we went on Fintel, we could see institutions from the filings have been loading up on shares. And then when we take a look at the short interest, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. And with the run up that we had today, I wouldn't be surprised if we have even more short interest. So that's why you want to keep a very close eye on this play. It does come with a lot of volatility, which is great for traders in regards to the price action. And I just hope that you do your homework and you do your due diligence before jumping into this play. And if you are a long-term investor, like I always say in my videos, I will continue to practice patience. Again, Lucid has a lot to prove, and they do have earnings that is coming up right around the corner. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how the stock performs going into tomorrow.